Do you ever feel like your marketing isn't working? Maybe you're struggling with getting more eyeballs or traffic to your website or your social media platforms, or just your products and services in general. Or maybe you're actually getting that traffic, but they aren't really converting. You're not seeing people on your email list. You're not growing your income. You're just not seeing enough. If you feel like you're doing all of the right things, yet things are just not happening, this episode is for you. This podcast is for professional voice teachers to answer the question, how do I grow my teaching business and even break out of that one-on-one lesson model so that I can reach and teach who I want whenever I want. I'm your host, Allie Tyler, voice teacher of over a decade and marketing and business coach for fellow voice teachers. Welcome to the Voicepreneur Podcast. Hello, beautiful voice teacher. Welcome back to another episode of the Voicepreneur Podcast. I am so excited that you are here. We are diving into, I'm laughing because I'm looking at the title of this and it's like, why your marketing isn't working. And that sounds so cheesy. We're going to dive into why your marketing isn't working. Doesn't that sound so much fun? I promise I try to make things really fun here. But I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to make it condescending. All right, let's actually talk about this for real. We are talking about why your marketing isn't working. And what I mean by that is we're actually going to self-diagnose what is going on so that you can fix it. If you're anything like me, you want to seek out all of the things and all of the ways and all of the hacks to make you successful. I mean, it's kind of like having a little checklist, a little mental checklist, especially when it comes to business and marketing. That's like, okay, I did this, check, I did that, check, they told me to do this and I did that, so check, right? And what I mean by that is things like social media platforms and creating your website and creating your logo and making a brand and, all the things that we think we're supposed to do when it comes to running an online business. And look, you are supposed to do them. I mean, that's how we run an online business. But what ends up happening is when we get caught up in all the things, doing all the right things, checking all our boxes, we actually forget how to look at things with a beginner mindset, with a growth mindset, with curiosity, and asking ourselves why things aren't working in the first place. So I really want to start this episode by saying that no matter where you are at in your journey, you clicked on this episode for a reason. You clicked on this because you were like, yes, this is what is resonating with me right now. I need some help with marketing. And if you need some help with marketing and getting more, whatever it is, fill in the blank, traffic, conversions, income, whatever it is, if you are looking for more, we have to approach this with a growth mindset first. We cannot go into the strategies and the hacks and the tools and the tricks until we have a growth mindset first. And what does that mean, having a growth mindset? It means being curious. It means looking at the data and asking ourselves, why? Why is this happening? What can we do differently? How can we grow? How can we learn? How is this an opportunity for us to do things differently in our business? Everything that happens when it comes to business and marketing in terms of growth, right? Like getting more students, getting more money, getting more brand awareness, like anything like that. All of that stuff has to do with taking ownership of the opportunities that lie within our business so that we can constantly be growing. We can't grow a business with a fixed mindset. So if you are approaching all of this stuff with a fixed mindset, meaning I already did that stuff, I already checked that off the list. Everything that she says, I already know that. I've heard that. I've done that. If you approach everything in that mindset, guess what, my friend? You are not going to see growth because you don't have the right mindset first. So let's approach things with a beginner's mindset. And the reason I say that is because the things I'm going to be talking about in this episode are probably things that you have heard before. And if not, that's awesome. But if you have heard them before, I invite you to approach this with a growth mindset, to look at your business with a lens of curiosity, and let's just see if we can figure out what is going on and why things aren't working. So let's start there. We're going to diagnose what the problem is. So I'm going to ask you point blank, is your problem with traffic or is your problem with conversions? These are really the two main things that we look at when we are diagnosing a problem with marketing is, do you need more eyeballs? Do you need more traffic? Do you need more numbers? You're just not getting your product or service in front of more people? Or is it that you are getting those people? There are people coming to your website, they're coming onto your social, you are building the following, but they're not converting, right? So which issue is it? Just think about that for a second in your own business. If your issue is traffic, you need more traffic, you need more eyeballs, then you're going to want to focus on your growth strategy, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. If your issue is that you are not getting conversions, people are landing on your social media profile, they're landing on your website, you have the numbers, but they are not actually converting into whatever it is that you want them to convert to. Maybe that's a paying customer, maybe that's a student, maybe that's just somebody on your email list. It doesn't matter, right? They're not converting, then that is actually an issue with your brand. So let's take a look at your brand first, because this is the foundation of everything. Here are a few signs that your brand needs a little bit of tweaking. You are attracting the wrong people. You're like attracting people, but they're not quite in alignment with who it is that you want to help. Or maybe you have big numbers, but not quality numbers. And you know that they are quality numbers based off of the actual conversion rate. So for example, if you look through your emails and you can see the open rate and the click rate, that type of thing, that's really going to help you know what type of following you have, if they are quality or not. If you have low stats on that, so let's say your open rate is like somewhere around the 20%, that's actually a little bit on the low side. So we want to get those numbers higher, up to 30, 40, even 50% open rates if you can. If you have somewhere around the 40 to 50% open rates, that's awesome. You are clearly talking to your people because they are opening your emails, right? And that means that you have a quality following. So you can look at all types of numbers. We got analytics on your website. We got analytics on Instagram. We got analytics on your Facebook. I mean, they're everywhere. Just look at your numbers and see if they look like quality conversion rates. Now let's get even deeper and look at the different elements that encompass a brand. So a brand is essentially how your people feel when they interact with you. And this is something that's one of those things where it feels a little ambiguous when you say that. You're like, how people feel? Like that's so, I don't know, it's so not concrete. But what's so interesting about psychology and really tapping into sales psychology in particular is that the words that you use, the mission that you have, the language, the solutions, the stories, all of that stuff is directly going to impact how a person responds to you. So it's really important that you are clear on your mission, what it is that you help people with. You are clear on the solutions that you help solve, especially when it comes to the fears and the frustrations and the pain points of your ideal students. You want to be clear about the language that you use in terms of how that is going to connect with your audience. That's really, really big when it comes to creating a solid brand. Now, this means that you want to diagnose your brand and look at it as a whole and see where you can improve. Is it going to be in your language? Is it going to be in your mission? Maybe your mission isn't very clear, right? Maybe you post about so many different types of things, and you're a performer, and you're a teacher, and you're a choir member, and you like to go horseback riding. I don't know. There's just so many facets to you, right? And when that happens, when there's so many facets to you and you're posting about all of the things, being an artist as a whole, that's awesome, but your mission gets lost. People don't necessarily know what it is that you're helping them with and why they should be following you. If you're treating your teaching business as an actual business, it is so freaking important that you are clear about what you help people with. And if you're not clear on that, that's okay. This is just an area where you can improve, yeah? All right, that is really what is going to encompass your brand. Now, moving on to getting more eyeballs, getting more traffic, looking at our growth strategy. This is actually a lot simpler than we think it is, I promise. So here's how you can look at traffic. Very simply in two categories. You either have word of mouth referrals or not word of mouth. You either have the network of people that you are in right now, where you teach a student, you have a member, and then they tell their friends about you, and then the network gets bigger and bigger, and it's based off of word of mouth referrals. Or you are getting plugged in front of brand new people that you have never interacted with before, and you are talking specifically to them in a way that teaches them because they are your actual ideal peeps. Now, here's how you would do this. You would focus on both. In our most ideal world, we are focusing on both categories in our growth strategy. Categories meaning word of mouth and not word of mouth, right? So when it comes to word of mouth, of course, this means that we are nurturing the heck out of our students. We are nurturing the heck out of our members. We are under promising and over delivering, and all of the details are just making it so easy for people to talk positively about you. That's the goal with word of mouth, is to make it so dang easy for people to just spread the word about how awesome you are. Then when it comes to not word of mouth, this is where we get creative with things like collaborations and partnerships, even Facebook ads, right? So tons of ways that you can do this. Your job is to get creative, it's to get strategic, and it's to really pick a focus. So if your strategy of getting more traffic is not working right now, then what are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on word of mouth referrals, or are you going to focus on not word of mouth, cold leads, people you have never interacted with before? It's up to you. So choose your strategy, create a plan for yourself. Maybe it's a daily plan or a weekly plan, and stick with it. And I promise you're going to see those numbers get higher. All right, my beautiful friend, I hope that was helpful for you and that you have some ideas on how to self-diagnose your marketing problems. This is so important. When you can take ownership of your business, when you know what is and isn't working for you, then you can get so much clearer about how to actually fix that problem, right? We can't fix the problems until we know what the problems are. So get curious with your data. Don't take anything personally, and have some fun with diagnosing what is going on in your business. So just to recap one more time, if you're struggling with more traffic and getting more eyeballs, then you want to be focusing on your growth strategy. And if you're struggling more with converting your traffic and you want to build your email list and get more income and more students, then you want to be looking at your brand strategy. So that means specifically looking at your mission and your messaging. Now I want to hear from you. So here's your job. You're going to take a screenshot of this episode on your phone. You're going to post it on your Instagram stories and tag me over at the Voicepreneur. And then for some bonus points, let me know what you're going to focus on. Are you going to focus on your brand strategy, or are you going to focus on your growth strategy? I want to know. Let me know over on Instagram. If you are an established voice teacher who's been teaching for a little bit and you are ready to break out of that one-on-one lesson model, I invite you to check out the free training that I created specifically for you. It is all about how to build passive income without burning yourself out. Truly, I really want to make this as streamlined as possible for you so that you have a step-by-step plan on how to create income in other ways beyond private lessons so that you can get your life back, my friend. We don't want you sacrificing so much time in order to get more money. You don't have to do that anymore, and I can teach you how. So check out the show notes where you will see a link to that training. You will also see a link for the Voicepreneur program. It is open for enrollment, so you definitely want to check that out. It is a very, very awesome community of voice teachers all over the world, and we are all working our little booties off to create a little bit more freedom in our life and using our teaching business to do that. So go and check that out if that interests you. And I will catch you in the next episode of the podcast. I hope that you have a beautiful day, my friend. I'll chat with you soon.